Hey guys, welcome back to Gameweek 6 predictions. Last week was my worst week yet. I only got 4 outcomes correct, but I didn't get any scoreline predictions exactly right. So I'm going to try to do a lot better this week. Let's see how this goes. And always, remember to subscribe and like, it really helps out. The first game we're going to talk about is Newcastle against Manchester City. I think this game is going to be kind of defining for both teams. I've been calling out Newcastle a lot, saying that I haven't been really convinced. And last week, I think their luck finally it caught up with them. They got a little bit exposed by Fulham, and I just think this is like the stage that their team is at right now. And I wasn't too surprised. I did say in my last predictions that I thought that Fulham would come up with a defeat because Newcastle would somehow manage to get like a last-minute win. It turns out I was wrong, and my initial thoughts were correct. And as for Manchester City, I think last week was pretty telling as well. We need to see how well are they going to be able to cope without De Bruyne and Rodri going forward in the future, for the foreseeable future at least. But I think the City team still is contenders and are probably still favorites for the Premier League. I think this game against Newcastle would be a big test to see how good they really are and how well they're going to be able to cope with the pressures of Liverpool and Arsenal seeming to be right on their case. Although there is worries for both teams, I do think that the worries for Newcastle are a lot higher than they are for City. So I'm predicting this to be a win for City, and I think it'll still be convincing. So I think it'll be 3-1. Next game is Chelsea against Brighton. I think I'm finally going to start giving Chelsea the respect that they deserve. They've been doing a lot better than I gave them credit for. Brighton, on the other hand, is one of those teams that we all kind of expect them to be mid-table, and that's where they're sitting at right now. They've been doing well, and then sometimes they do poorly. We just don't know exactly in which way they're going. We don't know if they're going up or down, and that's just the way their season is going so far. They win some, they lose some, they tie some, they don't score, they get red cards. It's just kind of every week, it just depends on what team turns up. So because of the lack of stability from this Brighton team, I don't think they'll be able to beat Chelsea at home. So I'm giving this win to Chelsea, and it'll be a 2-1 victory. Next game is Brentford against West Ham. This game, it seems to be a bit of like, a little bit of mid on mid. Like they're both not doing great, and I kind of expected a little bit more from both teams. And it could also be due to the opponents that each team have drawn, but that's the way the Premier League goes. You have to take every team, take every game as it comes, and you have to perform to your best ability. And if you're not able to, your form's going to drop and your momentum is going to drop. So I don't think this game will be too exciting. I think they'll each gather a goal, but it's going to end in a draw. So 1-1 I think will be fair. Next game is Everton against Crystal Palace. Now, this might surprise you, but I think this game's going to be pretty high scoring. Everton have been doing okay in terms of goal scoring, but not good in terms of retaining the win. And on the other hand, Crystal Palace have been doing a lot worse than I expected them to be. Crystal Palace showed glimpses of good tactics against United for the second half for like a 20-minute period, and they looked a little bit dangerous. They looked like they could have scored on United, but they didn't. So I just think that right now Crystal Palace is struggling to score, where on the other hand Everton is struggling to not concede, and I think these two will counteract each other. This is why I think that Crystal Palace will kind of get more goals than they have been this season in this game, and Everton will continue to just lose out because the other team scores too many. So I'm predicting this to be a high-scoring game, and I think Crystal Palace will take the dub away in a 3-2 win. Next game is Arsenal against Leicester. I think this game will be pretty one-sided for Arsenal. I think Arsenal's going to have a lot to prove this game. They're going to try to take out the frustration that they have from basically shooting themselves in the foot last game against City. They basically had the game in their hands. We don't know how we would have gone second half if that Trossard red card wouldn't have happened, but it's their own fault that it happened. Frustration settled in and they just couldn't cope with it. So I think they're going to try to take out that frustration on this Leicester team. Leicester has been doing okay for what their standards are so far in the Premier League this season, but I just don't think they're going to be able to do anything against this Arsenal team. Clearly frustrated, and they're going to be out for some type of revenge, and I think they're just going to end up losing, and the score will be 3-0 to Arsenal. Forest, Fulham. Both of these teams have been doing really well and exceeding some people's expectations. I last week said that Forest needs to start getting the respect and they need to start getting compliments for the way they've been playing recently. They've been doing really well, beating teams that nobody thinks they should be beating, and the same could be said about Fulham. They managed to beat Newcastle 3-1 in a very convincing win. There's a lot of potential in this Fulham team, and I like the way they play. I think this will be pretty exciting to watch from a neutral perspective. This game is probably not the one that everybody's looking for, but I think it'll be a really good game nonetheless. I do worry about Forest, though, due to that red card from Gibbs White. So if Gibbs White was playing, I would have given this like a 2-2 draw. But since Gibbs White is missing, I think I might give the edge to Fulham. And I think I'm going to say that Fulham's going to win 2-1. Next game is Liverpool against Wolves. This Wolves side has been poor. They've been falling below my expectations. Wolves haven't won a game all season besides that win against Burnley in the EFL Cup. So there's nothing too convincing about this Wolves team. I expected a lot more, but the way they've been playing, there's only one outcome. And on the other hand, Liverpool has been doing really well. The only bad game Liverpool has had really is that loss that they had against Forest. But ever since then, they've been doing pretty well. Throughout the season, they've been doing well. So I just think that was like a small setback in their season, and they'll continue to do good the way they have been. So I think this is just going to be a pretty simple game. There's not going to be much in it, and I think Liverpool wins 3-1. Next game is Aston Villa versus Ipswich. Ipswich has been doing really well. I like the way they play. McKenna has been doing a really good job as a manager, and they're giving a good fight to every single team that they play so far, and I think that will be no different for this game. Aston Villa has been doing okay, nothing special. Like I said last week, I think Aston Villa has been getting rather lucky the same way that Newcastle has. Maybe not on the same scale because Aston Villa has been playing better than they have, but they have been getting lucky. Even last game, they only managed to win 3-1. Yeah, on paper it's 3-1, but they didn't start scoring until like the 75th minute. I think it might just be an issue of just starting out strong and scoring right off the bat. They need to do it more convincingly. They need to be more straightforward, go for it. And I still think they're going to win, but I just need more from them. Need to be more convincing. I think Aston Villa will win, and they'll keep a clean sheet as well. So I'm predicting a 2-0 win. Second and last game is United versus Tottenham. I think this game will be a high-scoring game as well. Both teams have been doing rather poorly. United is doing well. They're playing decently, but they just can't seem to score. I think it's just they need a clinical finisher. Xerxes really hasn't been that goal scorer for United so far, and I think maybe if Højlund comes in, maybe he'll get more chances. Maybe there's more opportunities to score. Tottenham on the other side just have not been looking too well. Like they score a lot of goals, but as a team they don't look good. Like they got bodied by Arsenal at home. They struggled in their cup game recently. They have fans booing players. They have Ange not really coping well with the season. He's showing a lot of frustration. Like the whole team right now isn't doing so good. Just it feels like the environment and like the mood for the team has dropped quite a bit. But I think this game against United, I think they'll continue their goal scoring ways, but I don't think they'll come out with a win. I think United will be able to see out a draw, and it'll be 2-2. The last game is Southampton versus Bournemouth. I don't think Bournemouth has been doing relatively well. Southampton has been pretty poor, and I don't think this game's going to be the most exciting. I think it'll be, the game that least amount of action happens, least amount of goals. I think Southampton will lose. Bournemouth is going to win. Nothing too special. It'll be a 1-0 win. That's it for this week, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, let me know if you think I got it completely wrong like I did last week. Last week was by far my worst week, and hopefully I do a lot better this week. Anyways, that's it for this week. See ya.